Hey everyone, welcome to this special edition of the TOH podcast. This is, I believe, episode number 4. As always, my name is Axel, and today with me is... Oh, that's right. I am alone today. I'm doing a one-man show, one-man podcast, one-man band. So, here's the reason why. I have something to do, and people are pretty busy. At least the people that I tried to get on today's podcast are pretty busy. So I decided to do a one-man show. So it's going to be a pretty short episode. Not that long, obviously. I wanted to talk about a few things regarding TOH, the documentary that was released 3 weeks ago. A couple of other things. So let's jump right into it. A couple of questions that I've been asked is, why did I decide to do the documentary? For those that have not watched it yet, it's on the channel. It's called Day by Day, the documentary. Why Day by Day? Day by Day was a song that I wrote back in 2012. It was a love song dedicated to somebody, but it was a song that was written, obviously, in the title Day by Day. Taking things slow, taking things day by day, as it's in the name. And you're going to hear this a lot, day by day. So let's get that out the way. Day by day, day by day, day by day. I wonder what kind of creepy demonic entity will be popping out. Oh, man. Okay, so anyway, the documentary was released 3 weeks ago. And it was a topic of, depression, anxiety, addiction, alcoholism, reinventing yourself out of rehab. It did fairly well. It did better than I expected. Honestly, there was a lot of thought into that thing. I had written many scripts regarding what I wanted to say on the video. The editing process took a while. By that, I mean basically what I wanted to say, how it went down, the pictures, the videos, the theme song in the background. Everything just came to fruition when it came down to writing down. Mentally, I knew what I wanted to say. And mentally, I knew what I wanted to be shown. There was a lot of videos that weren't shown in that documentary based on, permissions that I was not given to post. So a lot of stuff had to be taken out. And I'm trying to have a presence on the internet. Showing a video of me doing the actual drugs that I used to do obviously would be demonetized due to YouTube standards. But I wanted to be as real as I could be in that video. So I did show videos of me drinking. I did show videos of other stuff that I was doing, like, coming out of the hospital, coming out of rehab. Stuff like that I was comfortable with, releasing out to the public. There was a lot of versions of that documentary that were made that weren't out. Again, it was because I didn't have permission from certain individuals. And so a lot of those projects had to get scrapped out. You'll hear a lot of slurs, a lot of weird mispronunciations. Keep in mind that I have been drinking. I'm about to go to a party of sorts. So I guess pregame is one of those things that has been taking place today. So anyway, just keep that in mind. It's kind of hard to do a show without my co-host Byron. And I say he's my co-host because I feel like most of the episodes, Byron has been a very major part of the show. We'll get into that a little bit later. Anyway, so the documentary, I released the documentary in hopes that maybe somebody out there, is going through depression, anxiety, addiction. And I'm not this guy that's like wonderful and can help anybody in the world. But if somebody can watch that video and say, holy shit, I can do this. That's my goal. I'm not this guy that turned his life around for the best. I'm not that. And I will never claim that. I still have my flaws. I still deal with depression. I still deal with anxieties. I still drink, but I don't drink as much as I used to. And that's one of the goals that I'm trying to, not a goal. That's one of those points that I'm trying to get out there. It's like, we're not perfect. We're all human beings. We all make mistakes. We all go through through battles that we need to go through on our own. You know, people can hand out help, and that's great. But in the end, it's up to us to eventually figure out what we want and what we don't want. That being said, I'm glad that it's out there, because there was moments where I was editing and I was like, man, who the fuck do I think I am to be releasing a fucking story about my life, you know? And I had a lot of those thoughts. And leading up to the release date, July 27th, I was like, man, what the fuck am I doing? Like, why am I putting my life out there on, like, for the internet, you know? Why am I putting my life out in public? But I thought about that, and again, it came down to the conclusion that if I can help at least one person that is going through the struggle, that is going through depression, anxiety, alcoholism, addiction, is like, if I can help just one person, I'm glad. And I did. I got in contact with somebody who saw the video, emailed me about it, and said, hey, thank you for this video. It had, it's helped me out. And man, me and this person was just back and forth in contact, and I'm glad I did that, because again, a small part of me was like, why are you doing this? Why are you putting your life out in public? But I keep getting reviews, I keep getting the views, and I like seeing that shit. Honestly, it's like it keeps me going, because it gives me that mentality that people are watching this, people are understanding, people are seeing my life and are going through the same struggle that I went through. Again, I'm not saying that I'm fully clean, that I'm fully, like, that depression and the anxiety is all gone, because it's not. I still struggle with it, but I can at least control it, I can look at my dark shit and be like, I know you're better than this, and I just move forward. So to those that watched it, thank you very much. I do appreciate the love and support that has been given throughout. That being said, I'd like to move forward to TOH, because I did say I was going to talk about TOH. So TOH, Tragedy of Humor, was something that I've been wanting to start for a very long time, over the course of a year now. I'm a big fan of podcasting. I'm a big fan of gaming, music, and I thought maybe I'd give this a shot and create something for a particular set of audience, people that like podcasting. I'd like to have my take on current events, funny life stories. We all have plenty of life stories, but maybe somebody can relate to some of our stories, and that's pretty much the goal here. Have a great time. I'm not expecting this to go big. I would like to, but at the moment, I'm not expecting it to go big, but I'm gonna have my fun with it, and we're gonna do this until we just don't. It's like that saying, everything is good until it's not. And so far, everything's been good. Everything's been going swell, and I like it, so I'm gonna keep doing it. And I'm gonna give this a year. So we launched TOH sometime in July, the last week of July. So by July of 2020, if things aren't, going as I'd hope, then we'll probably discuss the future of TOH. But until then, I'm going to give myself a year, and I'm going to keep doing that until that year ends, and then we'll move forward from there. So TOH is something that I started with a couple of buddies of mine at work, and I left that job a while back. Early of 2018 was when I left that job, and we didn't talk about TOH. And then one day I got in contact with a buddy of mine, Juan and Byron, and we started talking about starting a podcast about wrestling. And TOH is not about that, so we launched TDL, the Douchebag Lounge. The Douchebag Lounge was a full-on wrestling podcast. Supposed to be before and after pay-per-views for WWE. And we started veering off into, time travel topics, alternate universes and all this other stuff. And I realized this is the podcast, not a wrestling podcast. So we took a break sometime in February of 2019, and we kept discussing most of the time that we took that break about the future of TDL, like what's going to happen. And we decided to launch TOH, Tragedy of Humor. I enjoyed that launch because we wanted Juan, who was the creator of TDL, but he wasn't able to do certain episodes of the podcast. I think that's why he was on last week and not, 2 weeks before. But we launched TOH, Byron and I, and we made my dream come true of launching a podcast. We had a YouTube page for it, Tragedy of Humor, and we had a Twitter account that is still active at Tragedy of Humor. We have a Facebook page, Tragedy of Humor. We don't have Instagram. I don't have plans for Instagram. I really don't. But yeah, so we're there, and I'm honestly enjoying this run of the TOH podcast. I really am. I feel more free about it. We don't talk wrestling. Not that it's bad, but I feel more comfortable with it because I get to talk about what I want to talk about. Current events. We talked about funny stories. We talked about traveling with Lewis. I have many more guests planned, and I think this is something that I haven't mentioned yet, but we are having a season. I believe it's a 10-episode season. We'll have 10 weeks of the podcast, and then we'll take maybe like a month break, and then we'll come back for season 2, launch 10 episodes, take a 1 month break, season 3, and so on. So at least that's just for us, because we'll take a break because we feel like we gotta do a lot of planning when it comes to the podcast. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna be wrapping this up pretty soon, so just let me get a couple of things out. So at the moment, life is well. Life is good. Life is great. Can't complain, really. There have been a few hiccups here and there, but nothing too big. Yeah, man. Just if anybody's going through anything, just stick it out, man. Write it out. Things don't always stay negative, forever. They're just little stepping stones, little storms. But you know what they say, storms clear out. But man, I'm glad that you guys have stuck around this long. I really am. And bear with me for this one-person episode. I'm at home right now. The kids are in the other room. They are playing. I'm in my closet because I feel like it's the quietest place in the place so far. So, yeah. I feel like I'm rambling on. So I'm going to make this sweet and short. Thank you. Thank you all for listening to this edition of the TOH podcast. This is one-man show. I know that it's a short episode, but again, I'm by myself. I don't really have anybody else to talk with me here. I don't have my co-host, Byron. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. Have a great week. I know kids start school this week. Or kids have already started school. Mine's go this Monday. But I wish everyone well. I hope all the kids have a great school year. I hope you guys have a great work year. I hope you guys are having a great time. Enjoy life. And don't ever let anybody put you down. You deserve better. Feel better. Because you deserve it. You've done a lot of great things in life. Don't ever let anybody put you down. They don't know your struggles. You don't know their struggles. Be kind to each other, man. I think that's the message here today. Be kind to each other. Always show love, support, no matter what. You don't know what the other person is going through. They don't know what you're going through. And we all have our own struggles. And I think that's the important thing, to keep that in mind. No matter what, be kind to one another. This has been Axel, TOH Podcast. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.